Hello, and today I'm with Carumani.
Hello, Sue.
Hello. Thank you for agreeing to tell us about yourself and your relationship with the Ipswich Buddhist Centre. Can I start by asking you about your name and its meaning?
Right, okay. So my name's Carumani, and it means beloved, esteemed jewel. Charu is the beloved, esteemed. Mani means jewel.
Mm-hmm.
So beautiful name.
Lovely. And what led you to Ipswich and the Buddhist Centre?
Well, I lived in Ipswich. I was living in Ipswich. I've been living in Ipswich since 1985, although I originally come from Ipswich and moved away but moved back. Moved back because my children were being educated in Ipswich. And at the time I went to the centre, I was living on my own, not in a good place, and it's quite a stressful job. And I thought meditation will help sort me out. So I signed up for a class with Yana Mitra and Bodhi Vamsa. And found that it wasn't just meditation I was interested in, but that was Buddhism as well. And went from there. And that was early 2000.
And what did you find at the centre there? Was it a formed centre, or was it just classes?
Yes, it was. The centre then was, there wasn't a centre. It was a bit peripatetic in that we're moving around. So it was in a rented place in Foundation Street. And it was just a room that they had to set up each time they used it. Mm-hmm. And it moved from there to the library, to the college, and eventually to the thoroughfare, and then a few years later to where Friarsbridge Road was, where we are now. Mm-hmm. So I knew there was a centre. I'd heard about it, or knew there was a group. And so that's why I went, because I just sort of knew it was there and been told it was there, and thought meditation was a good way to start.
Mm-hmm. So you said you then got interested in Buddhism. So what made you choose Triratna Buddhism over other forms of Buddhism?
Well, it was a conversation with somebody that told me about Triratna. It was the FWBO then, Friends of the Western Buddhist Order. So I sort of gravitated towards there, not realising there was anything else around. I mean, I really didn't know anything about Buddhism at all. Mm-hmm. But I did go on retreat with the Order of Interbeing, which I enjoyed. But then I really thought the Ipswich Buddhist Centre was more my sort of place. That's where I felt really sort of comfortable. And once I started to learn about the teachings through Sangharakshita's interpretation of them, I thought that this is something I can really use in my life. Mm-hmm. And it was accessible. Mm-hmm. It was easily accessible for me. Mm-hmm. So I became a regular.
And eventually became ordained. So what led you to that? And who ordained you?
Well, I took quite a while to get to that point. I took 3 years to become a mitra because I wasn't going to rush into anything. And then I retired in 2007. I had thought about ordination before 2007, but felt there was not a lot I could do to pursue it or process it because of work. But once I retired, I went on retreat at Taraloka, and that's when I decided I would ask. And that was November 2007. Mm-hmm.
And who ordained you?
I was ordained by Dharma Dasin, who was, when I met her, she was with the London Buddhist Centre. And I had met her at the LBC, met her through her now husband again, and became friends with her, and we formed a really good friendship then, and so I asked her to be my preceptor, and I was very pleased when she agreed. And I asked her in probably about 2010. maybe 11.
And what's involved in that process of from the beginning to the actual ordination?
It is a training process.
Mm-hmm.
So, having once asked, it means that the ordination training retreat centre, Triratna Loka in Wales, is open to go to. So I started going there, formed connections with the team there, formed deeper connections with the Dharmacharanis in Ipswich, went to various events for women who've asked for ordination, met up with local women who've asked for ordination. So it's quite a few retreats to do. There's a real commitment to, personal commitment to change way of life, to become deeply connected with the Dharma, and really it becomes the centre of your life, the Dharma, and that's what I wanted. That's what I wanted, to make it the centre of my mandala. Mm-hmm. And so it's not an easy process necessarily, because there is a lot of self-reflection and a lot of you do get feedback on things that maybe you need to look at in your life. So at times that can seem quite painful, but on the other hand, it's of great benefit. And the friends around who are helping, I realised whatever they said to me was something I really needed to take on, think about, take on. And it was a benefit to me. So they were out to really help me to get through the training, which they did. They did. At times I did find it difficult, but looking back, I can see it was really beneficial. And I wouldn't be where I am today without those friends.
Yeah.
So that's good.
So Sangharakshita founded the Triratna movement. And what was your relationship to him?
Well, when I first came along, obviously I'd never heard of Sangharakshita, but realised gradually I heard more and more about him. In study, read quite a lot of his books, and I realised he made the Dharma really accessible. I could really understand it, and I say really understand it. I understood it, and. So I did make an effort to go and meet him. I met him first in 2008, and I did go and meet him several times. And he actually came to Ipswich a couple of times, and he stayed here with us. Mm-hmm. And I just felt he was a very gentle, person I could talk to. Quite humble person and highly intelligent. Got great command of the Dharma, and it didn't seem to matter what questions you asked him, he could always answer, which was great. And I just felt he'd created something in the movement that is a good force in the world, actually. So, yes, I highly regard him.
So in relation to the Ipswich Buddhist Centre, what's your role within that centre?
Well, I'm on the centre council and a trustee. I'm obviously part of the order team. So I do a mitra study group, 2 at the moment, 1 normally. I support or help co-lead the newcomers' introduction to Buddhism and meditation on Wednesday evenings. I'm the mitra convener, which means I try to look after all the women who've asked, who are mitras, or those who have asked to be mitras. We organise events for them, joint with the men sometimes. and organise other women's events, go to 2 meetings a year, Mitra conveners gatherings where I meet with other Mitra conveners so we compare notes and come back with fresh ideas, and that's a fantastic role because it means I've got quite a broad base of friends, in the locally, so it's lovely.
What do you think is the impact the Buddhist Centre has had on the town of Ipswich?
I think that's quite hard to sort of judge, but we have got quite a lot of people have been through the door of the Ipswich Buddhist Centre, and it's an accessible place. It's a very welcoming place, and I know we've made a difference to lots and lots of lives, and I think the fact we're there and we're accessible, people may pop in once or twice, but even having been there, that will have had some sort of effect, some sort of impact on their life. They might not realise it at the time, but people practicing the Dharma in Ipswich will have an impact on the whole town. That might not be easy to see, but it is there.
And how do you and the centre promote the Buddhist teachings through the Ipswich Buddhist Centre?
Well, it's done through, we've got a great publicity team, so we've got a website, Facebook page, we do, in the past we've often put flyers around the town. We have courses, introductory courses, open days, and we aim to make it as welcome as possible.
Great. So about the Ipswich Buddhist Centre, talk us through how it runs, how it actually functions on a day-to-day and week-to-week.
Well, we're part of Triratna, which is a worldwide movement, but we run as an independent charity. So we are a charity, which is good. We've got charitable status. We have an order team, a chair and an order team, and we have a council. And they're order members. The council is order members and mitras who've asked for donation. So the order organise the classes, and we decide. We have regular meetings as an order, and we decide what we're going to do and how the classes are going. We review what's going on. So we have something on more or less every day going on down there. We generally try and make it as open as possible. So it's run on a team base, really, the whole thing.
Voluntarily.
It's all volunteers. Everybody's a volunteer. So we don't have anybody who gets any payment, and we run entirely on dana, generosity of other people, helping us to run the centre, financial generosity, and we are actually, our new phrase is, we are powered by your generosity. So we're self-funding, completely self-funding.
Well, thank you. And thank you for giving us the insight into your role and the history of the centre. So if anyone wants more information, they should come along to the centre or visit the website www.ipswichbuddhistcentre.org.